think it's really reflective of the journey I went on, kind of finding yourself, healing yourself. So what I'm doing now is definitely a reflection of a healed Shar, a happy Shar, an in tune Shar. The Pacific Islander representation in children's literature, we are the very lowest represented group. When you consider like the year that my book came out, for mainstream book publishing, there was me, there was Kumuhina, and then there was a book called Ohana Means Family. That's 3 books. And there are hundreds of books that get released every single year. It's getting better though. Like slowly we're being given the keys to finally tell our own stories. I'm just like so excited for the future. I'm so excited for us to get the microphone finally. How does one research dead people and like sewage everywhere? I don't know where this is going. I think about it a lot,
She just thinks of dead people all the time. We're gonna cut this clip out of context. She's like, yeah, there's dead people. Yeah. I think about it a lot. Velina Maikako, welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps it aloha by saying we like Hawaiian Airlines but secretly booking with Southwest because they give you 2 free check bags. I'm your host Kamaka and I am Hawaiian all the way. Unless the other airlines have cheaper flights. Times is hot out here. We have a great episode for you today, but before we introduce our guest, I gotta remind you to check out our first ever live audience podcast coming up on February 18th at Blue Note Waikiki. We have a past podcast guest and queen of talk story, McKenna Maduli, joining us, as well as some surprise guests that you don't want to miss. There will be giveaways, prizes, special performances, and so much more. So make sure you head to BlueNoteJazz.com to get your tickets now. I hope to see you there. It's time to introduce our guest. Support for this podcast comes from Texaco in Hawaii, which features 58 convenient locations across the state. Fueling up at Texaco is fast and easy when you use the Texaco mobile app to pay at the pump. The Texaco mobile app is a contactless way to pay for fuel so you can get in and out of the gas station quickly. Fuel your car and fuel yourself. Pick up your favorite local snacks and ice cold drinks at your neighborhood Texaco today. Texaco at Techron, driving performance. Our guest today is a Polynesian freelance illustrator from the island of Oahu. Her illustrations are modern, fun, and elegant, and painted with the lush colors of the island. She started Punky Aloha Studio in the summer of 2018, which houses various branches of illustration work, ranging from murals, freelance and client work, product sales, fine art, and licensing. She has worked as a freelance illustrator with multiple editorial clients on Oahu, including Honolulu Magazine, Hawaii Magazine, and Hawaii Business Magazine, and has also created work for local organizations and businesses like Lili'o Kalani Trust, Honolulu Museum of Art, and Foodland. She has also created artwork for big companies like Apple, Facebook, Disney, Pixar, AT&T, and Sephora. If this isn't impressive enough, she has also published the first of 2 picture books as an author and illustrator for Harper Kids, an imprint of HarperCollins. I am so stoked to talk stories with her today. Her name is Shar Tui'asoa, aka Punky Aloha. Aloha, Shar. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
Aloha. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good.
Yeah. Did I say your last name correctly?
Tui'asoa.
Tui'asoa? Okay.
Yeah.
Forgot to ask you before that.
No,
okay, Tui'asoa.
That's okay.
Yeah.
People ask me how to say it all the time.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And I also forgot to double check if you published your first book, which I saw.
Yeah.
Did you get to your second one yet, or?
It's written. I just need to illustrate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm getting there.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it.
No, not yet.
All right. Well, I'm super stoked that you're here today. We were already talking stories before the podcast started, so I'm sure it'll be a great episode. And I'm just excited to get to know you. I'm a big fan of your art and your Instagram feed, your profile. It's just so aesthetically pleasing on the eyes. So it's going to be a great episode today. I like to start from the beginning, going back to where you from, where you grad, and what was it like growing up?
So I'm a Kailua girl. I graduated from Kailua High School. I was technically born in La'i. Then my family lived in Kalihi, and then we moved to Kailua, just to straighten that all out. But I've been there for as long as I can remember. And then I went to Kailua High School, shot over to Kahuku for junior, sophomore year, and then graduated as surf rider, Kailua, where I belonged.
Nice. So the little random kahuku transfer.
I guess, well, that's where my dad, he comes from Tonga, and when he came here, he was about 14. That's where he went to school. That's where he graduated from. So we've got Red Raiders in the blood. Like all my uncles and aunties went there also. So yeah. I loved it there.
Well, state champs.
They're not too shabby.
Yeah, they're all right. Even though my one victory in high school football on Oahu is against Koku Red Raiders.
Oh wow, that's a flex. Good job.
Yeah. Well, I'm so proud of it, especially because
you tell everybody.
It was like 63-0. We lost, but they had to forfeit that year. So I'm really proud of that one victory.
Take it any way you can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I have uncles from Kahuku that live in Hilo.
Oh, nice.
Like my aunties married them.
Okay, right on.
2 aunties married 2 brothers.
Uh-huh.
So they're both from Kahuku, the Kinui family.
Oh, nice.
So they're huge Red Raiders fan. So every
life.
Every time
for life.
I go back, I always rub that in their face.
I love
how
that.
I beat Kahuku. By scoring 0 points.
Love that, jeez.
Yeah. So what was it like growing up? What was your childhood like? What kind of things were you into?
I feel like I just had what I always considered kind of typical, at least for my side of the island. Just ride bike, go beach. My mom was a swim coach, so we were in the water a lot. And my dad, well, they both surf, so we all kind of grew up, in the water, surfing. Lots of music, kanikapila all the time in my family. Just a pretty happy upbringing, I'd say.
Yeah. Did you have any siblings?
I do. I have. There's 5 of us, so I'm right in the middle.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, a good brood of Tui'asoas.
Nice. Yeah, I think the middle child are always the best.
I know that to be a fact.
That's what they say. They say they're the golden child of the family.
We're the favorite.
Yeah, scientifically proven.
Exactly.
But don't fact check it. Like everything we say on this podcast, don't fact check it.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So you said that you were into sports, right? When you were in
I'd
high
say
school?
so. Always real active.
Yeah.
But I really got into volleyball. Loved volleyball and ran track. I was on the girls wrestling team, but I was really bad. I'm just not like a fighter, I guess. I was terrible. But mostly I was all right at volleyball. I was all right at track. It was good. Kept me busy.
Yeah. So I guess you had more of a creative side that you needed to nourish.
Yes. Head's always in the clouds. It's where it is all the time.
So how did you get into that side of you? How did you unlock that part?
Well, that's something that was just like always around for me, because my mom also studied art. So she was studying art at WCC Windward Community College when I was a little girl, like 2-3 years old, and she didn't have anyone to watch us, so she would take us to her drawing classes, and her professor Snowden Hodges would like just put us in the corner with crayons, and we would draw and feel like we'd participate in it somehow. So I kind of always grew up around art. It was always a part of our lives. There was always art books around the house, something my mom always encouraged us to explore. She let me draw on my walls growing up, it was always just like this freedom to create, which I really appreciate. So I think I was just always that kid that had a sketchbook on them constantly, because I always just like, it was like a limb for me, always wanting to express some harebrained ideas or draw my friends or something. I don't know. I always had the sketchbook. So I think it's just something I always naturally wanted to pursue. Yeah.
And how did you end up creating your style? Because it's a very unique and elegant and
thank you.
Funky, punky style,
Style is such a weird thing for like artists. It's something like we're just like always in pursuit of. I feel like that's something as illustrators and artists, we're always talking like, I want to find my style. I just need to find my style. And that's my goal, is to find my style. And I think it just comes down to just constantly and obsessively drawing, and eventually you carve your way into it. So like my style has kind of evolved and changed over time. It's always been featuring people. I love drawing people, like exaggerated, cartoony looking people. But it used to be much more, I think, a little darker, and I was really into rendering and making things look a little more realistic. And just kind of through my journey of trying to work, my idea was to work through graphic design because it's really hard in Hawaii to find, drawing jobs. So graphic design kind of entered the chat essentially and turned me on to this world of flat shapes and this strong compositions and use of limited color palettes. And I think it just like the worlds meshed, and I was just like, I just fell in love with, I don't know, exploring whatever it is I'm doing, just constantly exploring it and like falling in love with these worlds that I'm building from my head. Yeah.
Did you ever watch cartoons or?
Lots.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
huge influence.
Is that a big
sure.
influence? Yeah, because I know when Jack came on, he watched some Dragon Ball Z, some anime.
That makes sense.
So he had all these like ideas and visions in his head.
I was a Disney girl.
Disney girl.
That
okay.
probably checks out. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have certain TV shows that you really
Oh my gosh.
influenced you?
Well, yeah. Anything Tim Burton was big for me. I really liked his Beetlejuice the cartoon series. I loved Nightmare Before Christmas was huge for me. In fact, like a lot of the women that I draw, their body types are kind of like based off of Sally. Any of that, all the Disney cartoons, and as an adult, I was really into like the Cartoon Saloon. They did Secret of Kells. They're incredible animation studio, Studio Ghibli. I mean, you know what I mean? I like cartoons, and Saturday morning cartoons, just whatever, Saturday morning. Whatever. I just love the world of imagination, and I think it's just something that you can still do as an adult with no shame.
Yes, no, exactly. I started watching anime at the end of last year because I just was trying to find something new to do, because I watched a lot of TV shows and I just wanted something different. And I was thinking, well, I love Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah. That was my whole childhood, waking up for Saturday morning cartoons. Now I wake up Sunday morning to watch football. So Saturday morning cartoons as a kid has now transformed to Saturday night anime as an adult. It's like, do I want to go out or do I want to just stay at home and watch some Attack on Titan, So like that's what I do now. And I love it because the things that made you happy as a child, why can't they make you happy as an adult?
Exactly. It's a serious art form, I truly believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I totally love the creativity, the imagination, and the inspiration coming from these cartoons.
100%.
Yeah. So it's funny that you said you were into Tim Burton, because that, to me, that's a little darker and
it's super
whatnot. But when I look at yours, it's so happy and positive. So it's funny how that was an inspiration to you.
I think it's really reflective of the journey I went on, just kind of finding yourself, healing yourself. And what I draw now is super authentic. I always draw things that are authentic and genuine to me. And that's just, so what I'm doing now is definitely a reflection of a healed Shar, a happy Shar, an in tune Shar.
Love that.
Yeah, love that. I love bringing joy. I like feeling happy.
Yeah. Being happy is great, isn't it?
Nice?
Yeah, just having that joy in your life. Yeah. It's not, I think the thing with happiness is it's something that we're always craving, and a lot of times we look for outside sources to make us happy. And then once you get to the point where you can just make yourself happy and you don't need to rely on other things,
that's a nice place to be.
It's a really nice place to be. Yeah. And I think Aaron Kai, when he came on, another great artist, he was saying that like happiness is just being present, and you're not always happy all the time. Your whole life isn't happy. Yeah. You have bad moments, you have sad moments, you have moments when you're angry, but the moments when you're happy, it just outweighs the rest. It's like the positive and negative things in life. There's so many positive things in life. The negative things scream louder, and they may stick with you a little longer. But if you just take a step back and reflect, you realize, wow, there's so many amazing things in life.
You kind of need those things to really appreciate too, those small moments of happiness. Just like, well, I'm not there anymore. This is nice. Yeah. Yeah. It's a journey, but I think I'm positive we can all get there, even if we're there for moments of time.
Yeah. Are you a big optimist? Yeah. No, same. And I only ask because I think in my evolution as a human, I was a very unrealistic optimist. So I'm just like, everything's good, happy all the time, happy. Yeah. Don't be sad. Yeah. But I think as I've gotten older, I've been able to become more a realistic optimist, saying like, okay, this sucks. Yeah. but I can still have a positive attitude within this dark moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's the change. Instead of saying like, this doesn't suck, this is
Yeah.
amazing. You know, it's
Yeah.
just accepting the bad and being
Yeah.
like, it's okay, this will pass. It's just a season.
Totally
And
seasons.
it's our positive attitude, our positive mindset, being an optimist, it just prepares you for the bad times, you know, because you can get through it
Yeah.
because of your mindset.
Yeah,
And I think that's the
so.
strength of an optimist.
I think so
Yeah.
too. I think it's really just like accepting the fate of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I find like that seems to be my attitude. It seems to work for me. Like something's bad's happening, you just kind of sit in the moment, accept it,
Mm-hmm.
and like, okay, well, what are we gonna do with this? You know,
Yeah.
like how you can't just sit there and let it consume me. So what are we gonna do instead? It seems to help kind of guide a lot of my decisions.
Yeah, nice. And I think that's big is before I would ignore the bad, and now I don't ignore it. I just
Yeah.
accept it as
Yeah.
part of this life that
Find
we
a
live.
way to troubleshoot.
Yeah, exactly. And then find outlets that you
Yeah,
can,
outlets are
release the
important.
tension or the stress, which for you is like art, creating
Definitely.
things. And for me,
Yeah.
it's writing or
I like that.
speaking like
Yeah,
this. We all
yeah.
have these, or surfing, whatever it
Yeah.
is, working out. I think these outlets that everybody needs,
Yeah.
whether that's creative, physical,
Anything.
emotional,
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at what point in your life did you feel like this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? I can make a career out of this.
I think it's hard to pinpoint when I knew I could do it, but I knew it is what I wanted to pursue really early on, like even in elementary school. Initially, I wanted to be like Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes. I wanted to do the Sunday comics. That was my goal. It's like one day I'm going to have like something in the Sunday paper. Yeah, and that just sort of evolved into, wait a second, like I kind of think I want to take my visual storytelling a little bit further, and actually I'd like to work for a big animation studio and do like visual development and create characters for a studio. And that's kind of what eventually led me to art school.
At where?
I studied at Windward Community College for years, actually, just kind of dawdling around. I took art classes from the same art instructor my mom took art classes from. And eventually that led me to Laguna College of Art and Design in Laguna Beach, California.
Okay. And how long were you there?
5 years.
Oh, wow. So that must have been a transformative time in your life.
It was.
Right? Was that the first time leaving the island? Or like
no,
living away?
Yeah, it was like, well, no, I lived in Utah briefly as a kid, but this was my like 5 years in this crazy, it was not, I guess it wasn't that crazy because Laguna Beach feels very Kailua. So it wasn't too crazy, but it was nuts because I'm such a Hawaii girl. Like I'm just like Hawaii or die, I'll never be happy anywhere else. Nowhere else is as awesome as here, and you'll never catch me living anywhere else. So like even going there, that was a stretch for me, and I didn't expect to really like it, but I fell in love with it. It's a beautiful place. It was like right by the beach, and the people were cool.
Yeah.
So, and I got to be immersed in art, which was just a dream come true for me. Yeah.
Is there a big art community in Laguna?
There is. Yeah. There's like a lot of fine arts over there. The school I went to is really focused on like sort of like academic art and classical art, observational art. So lots of like oil painting and figure drawing. That whole community is really into like the Western art world, and so there's a lot of support for it too. Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest lesson you learned while being there?
Oh, like in art or just like in life?
Yeah, however you want to answer that question.
I think life lesson I learned was being really open to new experiences, and overcoming your fears. Was really scary to just kind of like, here I am, who do I think I am, going to this art school with all these like incredible people and artists, like somehow I'm going to try and fit in there. That was really scary. But I'm really glad I did that. And I think the takeaway from art school was just be in love with what you're doing, like immerse yourself in it constantly. If that's what you want to do, be about it, be there, be obsessed with it. And yeah, those are the kind of takeaways.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a good lesson for just following your dream, following your passion, and just be obsessed with something, right? So how do you find your passion before you can even start obsessing over something?
I think the obsession, it just kind of comes with it, right?
It's just inherent, like you can just feel it.
I think so. I think, I have people in my life that don't have, we talk about this, like they're just like, I just don't understand what passion feels like. I don't know what that is. And I don't know why I know what it is. I have no idea. I just know that I often like being an optimist. Your head is constantly in the clouds, and it's in the clouds with optimism, and it's in the clouds with imagination constantly. I'm always like drifting off. I don't know. I drift off into these weird worlds, and I think the best way for me to harness that is to draw them. And that became an obsession for me because I like lived half of the time in the worlds in my head. So I think it just sort of became a part of like who I am. And that became obsessive, and that became passion. And then just, yeah, the good feeling of like releasing. It's like when you get to talk after not talking maybe for a full day, and you get to just like unload all your great experiences and thoughts that you had with your partner or whoever. It feels nice, and that's what drawing feels like to me. It's just like, oh, like all these wonderful ideas.
Like
I just need to put them down. Yes, color, shapes, love it,
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. So, you ever thought about turning these images and illustrations into like a cartoon, like an actual TV
it's
show?
only been my biggest dream.
Oh, so you're working on it now?
I can't say.
We're gonna see a Disney show coming up.
I can't say.
All right, well, you guys just have to stay tuned and follow. I don't actually know. This is just an organic question that came up.
This is the best answer I can give you.
Yeah, so sometimes that's not saying anything is an answer.
I guess.
So I guess we might have an answer. You didn't say anything.
I didn't
You didn't say anything.
I thought about it my whole life.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing to think about.
It would be great if it actually happened.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah. I'm interested now. We'd have to pry a little bit harder off the podcast. We'll cut off all the recordings and everything. Also, really cool jacket. Side note.
Thank you. I got this from Japan the last time I went.
Nice.
I've always wanted one of these things, and they're everywhere, and they were cheap. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Every color coming home with me.
If you're just listening, she has this cool, like, what do you call that kind of jacket? Like,
I don't even know. Is it like a bomber jacket?
Bomber, yeah, I think bomber.
I don't know.
Bomber jacket, but there's like two lions on each side of where it unzips, so it zips down the middle, and each side has tigers. Oh, sorry, they said lion. Tigers, yeah, tigers.
Striped lion.
Yeah. They have these tigers, and they're just like facing each other, like roaring at each other. It's super cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you're not watching the visual feed, Shar is also a very cool looking person too. Yeah. As soon as she walked in, Jordan was like, "Wow, you look cool," and she's like, "Yeah, I know."
No, stop! Oh my gosh! I said thank you. Me?
She said, "Yeah." Compared to you two, compared to you, Jordan, in your plain black tee.
Oh my god.
And Kamaka in his pants with no slippers.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate that. I was stressing out as I work in my sweats all day. I don't really generally have things to wear, but pull it together.
So what is your work routine like? So how do you get into zone? I guess let's start at the beginning for people who want to understand like the life of an artist, because you reach out to people reach out to you, you do these jobs, you have to, talk about your rate and stuff, and you gotta think about what to draw or illustrate or whatever, and then how do you get into like that flow state? So kind of start at the beginning.
Yeah, okay. Well, the way it goes is just generally you get an email from whoever wants to work with you, and they generally will present to you the job, the opportunity, and you say yes or no. I say yes way too much. And then you jump into a meeting where they discuss exactly all the things you need to make for them and how much they're going to pay you. You have contracts and all that. Always make sure, where's the camera? Make sure you have a contract in place, always. And then it's really simple from that. Then you just start drawing, you start putting together sketches so they can have a better understanding of how you're going to tell their story. And they say, I don't like it, I like this. And then you work on the one they like until it becomes a final piece. And yeah, that's it. Like when you're in that space though, like this, I kind of just brushed over sketching. Like that's the creative space, like where you're like, okay, like our jobs as illustrators is to really troubleshoot for the client with visual languages. So they're saying, we have a product or we have a message we want to say, and we want you to say it and make people feel this certain way. And so you kind of take these like abstract ideas and try to make it make sense for the layperson to understand. And that, I think, just comes with practice, understanding how to conceptualize those ideas. But that just drawing a lot, like sometimes I'll just start scribbling nothings and eventually a shape will form in there. Like, oh, that looks like this is happening. Oh, that's a great way to tell that story. Or sometimes I'll have exactly I know exactly how I'm going to do it. And you jump right in and the job goes really quickly. Yeah, it's like, all different kinds of things can happen along the way. But ultimately it just comes down to like, imagining what it's like if you putting yourself as the consumer, like what would help them read this message clear, and what's going to get this message across for everybody. Yeah,
cool.
It's fun.
So you know how writers have writer's block so when you have an artist block, drawer block, I don't know what the equivalent is constantly. So how do you get out of that?
You just draw.
You just keep scribbling. Yeah.
That's like, well, okay. I mean, that's the easy answer. Sometimes I'm so stuck and it usually just means I'm depleted and I need to go walk or I need to go jump in the ocean, even just for a quick swim, or even just dipping my feet in the water always just like propels me back to like a place where I can think. So if I can't make it out of the house, if I can't make it to the ocean, which I don't know why I wouldn't be able to, but I think also just drawing through it, things will appear to you, but not drawing is not going to solve anything. Yeah. You got to get to it at some point.
Yeah. But it is interesting how kind of slowing down can help you speed up.
Yeah.
And just taking a step back, recharging, however you recharge, whether it's jumping in the ocean.
That's a big
eating
recharging.
food.
Yeah, anything,
Yeah.
Recharging is such a big part of any of this that we do, you have to balance it out or you're just useless.
Yeah. Were you ever at a point of your life or your career where you thought you wanted to give up, or you thought this wasn't right for you?
Oh gosh, I think even just recently.
Really?
Actually, I've never really felt like that before, but I think I've gotten I work a lot. I'm always just super like, I feel like I talk about this a lot. I feel like I'm always running away from being like having financial problems again, or being broke again, or being on welfare again. So I'm like just like sprinting away from that. So I desperately take jobs, even if I don't really, really need them. It's just like, it's a habit for me.
I'm going to create that
yeah,
a bigger
like,
gap.
Okay, but what if I never get another job again? So I have to take this job. It's like, it's a survival thing, and I think that can really, it takes such a toll on you, and it's started to do that a lot this year. I think just with everything, with work and just the world, and like being like really like just sensitive to everything, it just takes its toll. And I think like if you're carving your own path, right, you're kind of your own boss, carving your own path, it just takes a lot of focus, a lot of dedication, and a lot of hard work. But I've noticed like if you're not really focused enough, then you're going to start chipping away at your own self, and you're going to miss the path completely. And then what good is that? And that's what burnout kind of is when you are trying to reach your goal, but you're really just depleting your own energy. And I've done that a lot. And I think just recently I was like, whoa, like, why am I doing this to myself? I'm not happy doing this. Like, I'm doing art and I'm complaining and I'm tired. Like, I really need to take a step back, and I think I'm just working too much, and I need to find a way to enjoy it again. And yeah, I think it's good to be really aware of just giving too much of yourself, because I mean, that's just not healthy. Balance is so important.
Yeah, that's been a big focus on my life in the last couple of years, just finding that balance. And I'm pretty happy to say that I don't think I've been burnt out in a couple of years. So
congratulations.
Yeah, and there's always stuff to do. There's always stressful moments, but knowing when you're depleted, and being like, I need to surf today. Like how I schedule a meeting, how I schedule a podcast, like I schedule surfing or whatever it is.
That's so smart.
Because even like I could technically be free to do something else. Like say my family's like, can you do this for me? I'm like, no, I'm busy.
Yeah.
And like that busy is just like surfing or something. But it's a mental health thing, because like I need it, just like how you need to go into going to work to do something. Like I need to do this in my week, or I'm just not gonna feel good about my day and my week, whatever.
Yeah, I'm slowly learning that. I think the people around me are constantly telling me that you need, even Jack's like, he's somebody I go to and we just talk about things, about work and stuff. And he's like one of the ones who's just like, Shar, you know, you need to find some balance and calm down a little bit and schedule it better. Schedule your free time. And I think that's the goal of this year, is to just slow down a little bit and just remember why I fell in love with art.
When you're not doing art or creative work, what are you doing?
Reading. I read a lot.
Okay. So that's like your piece.
That calms me down. I like to read. I love watching movies, and I love going to the ocean when I can. And just loving Hawaii, I think it's my favorite. But to be completely honest, like when I'm not drawing, I often crave to draw again. So a lot of times I'll just be sketching something for myself. I haven't done that for a long time, like create work for my own self. But man, downtime and creating your own work, that's just so addicting.
Yeah. I mean, when you love what you do,
it's real fun.
It doesn't feel like work, right? That's why I love this. Like, this is fun to me, like the talking part. And the other stuff is I can get somebody to do that eventually. That's my goal.
I do.
But like being creative and doing fun stuff, like, that's just the peak of life to me.
I know.
Like doing whatever you want.
I just feel, you know what? That's a good point. And I have to remind myself, like, I cannot complain. I complain so much.
Well, you can complain. So I see it this way. Like there's two types of complaining. There's complaining because you want to be heard. You want somebody to give you a solution, or you just want to, like, I don't know, have people feel sympathy for you and like maybe feel bad for you. And then there's just complaining. The other one is like complaining just to get it all out, to vent. Like to me, I feel like I'm not a complainer, but sometimes I just want to just like sit out like, oh, I'm tired. Like I'm not saying like I'm tired because I want you to feel bad for me, or I want you to give me anything. It's just I just want to get it out. You know,
that's pretty much
so
it.
That's how I kind of compartmentalize.
I'm not looking for solutions. I just need to let it out because you gotta do it sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Know? So I don't think complaining is necessarily bad. It's just like, why are you doing that? And what is your goal of the complaint? Really, to get it out and move on. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like if you were stressing, journal something, you write it, and whatever, draw. Bye. And just like let it go. So complain just to get it out. And
kind of sometimes like when I'm like in a really negative space too, I will just like, I'm not working on what I'm supposed to be working on. I'm drawing this thing that's been sitting in my head, and I'll spend the next few hours drawing it to completion. And then I'll just be like, oh my God, like I feel like I just been baptized, you know, like it feels so good. So when you get those complaining spaces, I guess it's good to just do something with it, harness it somehow. Are
you hard on yourself? And is your family ever hard on you? Like, I know you come from a Polynesian household, so
a big one, a big loud household. Yes.
Does that ever play a factor in like the pressure of like?
No, not at all. You know, I come from such a huge loving family. Never any. I'm hard on myself. That's it. I'm my own worst critic. Like I think a lot of us are. You know, you sort of like you're a perfectionist, and my family is just super proud of me. I think, you know, I'm just really hard on myself.
Nice. I mean, as you should be. You know, I think it's always the biggest battle is the battle with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, everyone else is just.
Everyone's just proud of you.
Yeah.
I think my family would be proud of me no matter what I was doing. I think they're just happy for me that I'm doing like the cool thing I said I was gonna do.
Yeah.
You know?
That is cool to say you're gonna do something and then actually do it.
Yeah.
I saw on your Instagram that you were on the cover of Midweek, or you're in Midweek, and you said that you've always wanted to be on Midweek or some sort of magazine. And you did it.
Yes.
So congrats. I love when people
Thank you.
go out and accomplish things.
Yeah. It's great. It feels good to, you know, slowly check off all your goals.
Yeah. And it's nice that we see the highlights and, you know, the accomplishments, but I'm sure it wasn't always easy. And there was a lot of work that you needed to do to get there. What would you say was like the hardest part of your life, or like a point where you just were really down? I mean, you kind of said recently like you were thinking about giving up, but was there ever a point, like a very like life-defining moment?
Oh gosh, I won't go too crazy.
Okay.
I had like
go as crazy as you want. This is your episode. I'm just here to guide the conversation.
I call it, and my family and people who've known me long enough know that I had this period of my life that I call the dark ages. You know, it was just like
like that. The dark ages.
When I always reference like, oh, that was, you know, dark ages Shar, you know, or like it was just
Tim Burton Shar.
God, it was beyond that, you know. Like this was my 20s, and it was like just directionless and just partying way too much and numbing myself, and I think lost all direction. And I was in that world for a long time. It feels like several years, you know, and I think it just got to one specific point that I just kind of snapped out of it. I was like with my best friend at the time, and we were both just kind of doing the same crap. And like, we just looked around ourselves, was sitting in a bar in a bowling alley. And I was just like, this can't be my life like forever. You know, I just can't do it. And like the next day I like dried out. I like got my art portfolio together. I started taking it super seriously, and I just decided like now's the time to like just go for it, and you know, remember your value and remember all these things that you can accomplish and reach your potential. Like I was just like, I just made the decision, and that was like a big moment for me. It was like, if I can get out of this rut and get to the next stage is getting to an art school. And then like, once I got to the art school, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. And then graduating, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. And then moving back home and being jobless and broke. And then you're like, oh gosh, like here we go again, you know.
That's
like,
the next pit.
It is, because it's not always just like this straight trajectory to the stars, you know. It's like up and down, ebbs and flows, and it's about like getting back up again, right? Like I did this and this means I'm gonna make it, but no, not really. You're gonna have to go through struggles again, and you're gonna have to see if you have the strength to pick yourself up again and not be embarrassed about your failures and just keep going. Who cares, you know? So lots of ups and downs.
Yeah, I think life always gives us these realizations unexpectedly a lot of times. Like I remember growing up, say I was like elementary school and middle school, going to high school, like this is the real world, going into the real world. This is life right there, high school. And then you're about to graduate high school, like I can't wait to join the real world, like go to college. I'm gonna be a college student. Like this is this is the real world. And then you finish college, like, I can't wait to like
Yeah.
join the real world.
Yeah.
Like, I can't,
It's
I don't
coming.
know, like, we keep saying that, like, I don't know if it's me, I just keep using
Yeah.
the real world, like, this is real
Yeah.
life. Or,
Yeah.
and then you finish college and you do this. And for me, I joined the Peace Corps. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get into, like, this is what life is really
Yeah.
about. This is the real world. And then it just,
Yeah.
I keep
It's a moving
saying that.
target,
And I
man.
think the real world is just whatever's next in life.
Yeah.
You know, we keep thinking like this is like the peak,
Right.
the epitome of
Yeah.
life. And then you just keep going and you're realizing like, no, I don't think this is
Yeah.
it. And like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like you said, at the top of a mountain is another
Yeah.
mountain.
Yeah.
So every time it's just like there's more and more you can do. And like maybe you get to the top of a mountain, but that's like the bottom of another one.
bottom
So
of
you're just
another
like,
one,
I gotta
yeah.
start all over again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just funny how in life we just think like, this is it.
Yeah.
I've made it. And then you're like, wow, I'm
But
so
you
far
never
from
do.
actually making it.
I mean, we're all just
Yeah.
students, right?
Yeah.
Perpetual students.
Yeah. What would you say success is to you? Like, at what point would you say, like, I've made it? Well, you made it on the cover of Midweek,
right
so
now.
that was one of the moments.
I
Right?
mean, I don't think success is a thing, or it's like not things.
Mhm.
It's just, I think it's feeling satisfied knowing that you've tried your hardest. I think that's a success to me. Is you're not always going to get something from all the work you put into a project or a goal. You're not always going to get something in return, but you are always going to get that feeling of like, well, I gave it my best.
Mhm.
you know?
Like, you're not gonna get something tangible, like an
Yeah.
award or
Yeah,
something
those things
like
are
that.
fleeting anyways. You
Yeah.
can't take it with you, right? So I think just those, like, knowing that you are that kind of a human being, that
Mhm.
you can kind of get through it, have some grit. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a success, I think.
Okay, cool. I love that. I want to get into some social media fan questions because we got some good ones.
Oh gosh.
So, wow, are you scared or something?
A little.
No, I don't think it's anything bad. But yeah, I gotta take a quick shishi break. I know I'm the one sipping on shaka tea right now. You're just cruising over there. But yeah, just so to let everybody know, because I think one guest, I forget who it was, they're like, wow, one of my biggest surprise, or like the things that they really like coming on here, they're like, knowing that you actually take a shishi break.
That's
Like-
good to know,
like
the
I
authenticity of
like
the show.
I actually
Yeah.
have to take a shishi break and go to the bathroom. I'm not just like taking a break just to like
So everybody
take a break.
knows.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to the bathroom after this
Okay,
because
okay.
I drink a lot of liquids.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So we'll be right back. Immerse yourself in the underwater wonders of Hawaii's marine life with Hawaii Ocean Charter's hands-on guided snorkeling tours. Whether it's your first time falling in love with Waikiki or you're rediscovering its beauty just like me, there is no better way to see it than from the ocean. Personally, it was one of the best things I have done this year. I got to snorkel with some turtles and fishes, and I was able to catch the coolest sunset over the water. Conveniently located in Kaka'ako with online booking and live availability, finding the perfect day on the water couldn't be easier with them. Ride in style on their unique and well cared for power catamaran that offers all the amenities you need. Locally owned and operated, their friendly crew lives for sharing their love for the ocean with others. Sunset cruises, guided snorkeling tours, whale and dolphin watching, coastal sightseeing, and fireworks shows are among the tours their guests love the most. Use code KIA50 to get $50 off of your next charter. All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. Mahalo to Shakati for us providing the best shishi in town. All right. Let's get into the social media fan questions presented by Texaco in Hawaii. All right. First question comes from somebody named P Funk Love. What has been the most surprising opportunity or experience of your career?
Surprising opportunity?
Yeah.
The
or
plane.
experience. Oh, Alaska?
Yeah, being asked to design a plane
That's amazing.
is the craziest job. I think I probably dreamt of doing something on that scale, but I was like, that just is never gonna happen. And Daniel Chun from Alaska slid into my DMs.
Nice.
And that's pretty much, yeah, that has to be, it's still kind of like, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, it hasn't come out yet, and I just still like, every time I remember that that's happening, I just kind of like, what a wild ride art is, you know? This is incredible.
The places it can take you.
The places you'll go. I love it.
Yeah. It's like that one song by Kimie. The CPB commercial, I think.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's CPB. Is it CPB?
Yeah, I think so.
With the cat. Yeah. I think so. The places you will go. That's what I think about when you say that. And so how did you think of it? Some sort of artwork to put on a plane?
That's the biggest challenge. Yeah. I think because there's so much pressure and you just want to knock it out of the park because you'll never, ever get this opportunity again. But I think Alaska kind of gave me, like, it wasn't just like, do whatever you want. And I also wanted to be, because I do draw a lot of women and I do like a lot of profile women with just like these big floral headpieces. But then I was like, that's too much like Hawaiian. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So like I had to do a scene. It's a lot. I mean, I was really stressed about it, but they gave me kind of guidelines. Like this has to be kind of like something that shares like how do we want to malama Hawaii moving forward, or like that's the messaging we want to do. So it was something more in tune with Aina. So,
okay. It wasn't like the how the Southwest did that tribal one.
I've had many conversations. I have some thoughts.
I remember commenting on that post.
Oh no! I hope you were nice. Oh my gosh, you guys.
No, I think I was mostly commenting on the Hawaiian because they misspelled a lot of words.
Oh, they missed like the Okinas.
Yeah, yes. Which changes because either you don't do it or you do it, you know?
Either you don't or you do
Yeah,
it.
so if you're going to use diacritical marks, then you got to use it correctly.
Right.
But they like half used it. And so it like changes the meaning of certain words. So I was like, if you like, it's not that hard to just Google or like ask somebody. Like you have this huge
Google.
budget.
Ask somebody.
But ask somebody. Yeah, have like a cultural advisor.
Yeah.
So that's what bothered me. I didn't really care about like the design or whatever. I was just more like, come on, guys, you guys are this huge company. Like you probably have a huge budget. You can't just like take 10 minutes out of your day to like make sure this is correct.
Yeah, I think messaging goes a long way, and just doing things correctly goes a long way, and you have all the resources at your fingertips. But I don't work for Southwest. I don't know who designed it, but I know there was somebody who did, and we applaud that because I know that's hard to put your stuff out there and for people to consume and judge. Oh, that's the biggest nerve. Like when mine comes out,
know,
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna hide. Like, I'm just gonna be in the.
I'm sure yours will be good, and I think it'll be pretty authentic.
It's good. It's It's
because that one seemed a little bit like trying too hard to be.
It was
Hawaiian,
I think with mark making, wow, like we have some fabulous mark makers here, you know, that like Manaola could have done. I'm one of the
say what your chest.
We've got mark makers that could have done something really authentic and beautiful and thought out, something that they could discuss and teach with, and I think that would have been really amazing to see. And I don't know, maybe there is storytelling behind it. They didn't put it out there, or they didn't share that with us. So maybe that would have been cool. And I also noticed that Southwest, typically when they do their planes for each of the states, they just do the flag. That would have been cool, huh? Like just a Hawaiian flag plane. Like that would have been cool too.
Yeah. I mean, just when you do anything culturally, you've got to do it right. You got like there's no room for error.
Like it's certain things.
It's the unfortunate truth. You have to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. That being said, I will still book with Southwest if it's cheaper than other airlines.
I have no comment.
I have a Hawaiian airline credit card, so I get 2 free bags at Hawaiian.
I love Hawaiian.
So and then I got miles too that I can use. So, but I still, even though that I can easily just get the 2 free bags for Hawaiian, whatever, I still just compare just to see.
I'm just bougie. I just need comfort seats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I sit wherever.
Oh my gosh.
I'm simple. But I actually haven't gone on Southwest in a while. I've been on just a Hawaiian kick.
Yeah.
And if they want to sponsor the podcast, then I will only go to
Right.
Hawaii. Or Alaska, actually. I'm thinking of Alaska because Alaska are pretty much.
A good word. I haven't actually flown Alaska yet. I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna book a flight with them in February. I have to go to Epcot for the art festival again. So I'm gonna be trying out Alaska.
Yeah. No, I think I just went the first time to Georgia last year, and I liked Alaska.
Yeah.
And I think I liked it. I'm pretty sure it was Alaska because I have T-Mobile as my service provider, and you get free internet on the plane if you have T-Mobile.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I was like, it was the first time where I was just like on Instagram or watching something on my phone
that's cool.
on the flight.
Glad to know. I have T-Mobile. This will be good.
Well, it was a match made in heaven. Yeah. Okay, so mahalo Paula for the question.
Paula.
We love you. Okay, just the queen Paula from
the queen, the
casually
icon.
Just leaving questions for
so
Shar. Okay, next question comes from Kavaila_N_Matt. This person says, Shar can jam guitar and has a beautiful voice. Will she be sharing any music this year?
Kavaila. Oh, we go
calling
back,
you
girl.
out.
Kavaila has a beautiful voice too. Yeah, I used to play music all the time and sing. I was even in a band, but you know what? Those days are memories, and I just stopped along the way. Like I started having kids, and I used to play guitar and sing for my daughter all the time. And one day she just like started putting her hand on the fretboard and wouldn't let me play anymore. She's like, no. She's like, please stop. Stop. Or if I'd sing in the car, she'd be like, stop. And same with my son. I just eventually was just like, okay, I'm not appreciated. And okay, I will keep this gift to myself.
Sometimes things take a while until they're appreciated. Like some TV shows or songs, like they don't get famous until like way later. You know, like you ever watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
You know that song, like running up the...
Yes.
Like that had such a big resurgence just because of Stranger Things.
Yeah, you don't want to find the hidden recordings. You know, thank you, Kyle. Bless your soul. But like, I just don't think it was my calling. You know, I didn't think I was that great, but it was sure fun. I love being able to jam because I come from like a family that jams, but I'm really not that, you know, like I don't think I can remember half my chords anymore. I just kind of like painfully just like, I used to like be obsessed with it, like sleep with my guitar. You know, I was like solo mission to like Sandy's to go jam out by my, it was just, you know, just so silly.
Well, you never know.
No, I don't.
It can make a comeback.
I think
I think you make a comeback.
I think that
everybody
ship has sailed.
Go comment, send your DMs that you want to hear sing and play guitar. Go do it, everybody.
Trust me, you don't
if I don't see comments on this episode, I'm gonna disown everybody that listens to this podcast. No. All right, well, you never know.
I'm just gonna draw. That's all I'm gonna do.
Next question comes from a mutual friend, Leolani. I'm pretty sure you know her. Okay. She's awesome. She's becoming the mu'umu'u queen of Hawaii.
She's so cute.
Yeah. I didn't know she was so young. You know, she's only 21.
Wow.
Yeah, she's so mature.
Yes, she carries herself.
Yeah, she carries herself really well. Okay, this person says, what are your favorite color palettes to use for your paintings?
Oh, you know, I love my mustard yellows and my blues. I do heavy saturated colors because that's just what I'm drawn to. I just think it just like has such an impact on the eye. Yeah, so blues, tranquil colors, I guess, but like just super extra. Like if there's a pink in there, it's like an extra pink. Like
you want to be tranquil, but you want to be extra tranquil.
I want it to give a sense of whimsy and like a departure from reality. So everything is just like the colors always just super amped up. The shapes are always really like out of proportion, you know, like puas just aren't that big on your head. Yeah. Maybe not, but bright colors. That's my color palette.
That's cool. I like how you said that because we have enough of reality here, right? Like we see a regular flower, regular colors, but to be able to see something that's out of the ordinary, it just gives us a different feel.
Yeah, I think that's my big.
That's why we watch movies and TV shows.
Exactly.
To escape from
it's my pushback against making art that just matches everything. You know what I mean? Like, my art instructors are always like, don't make artwork to match the drapes, which might not be good for selling, but you know what I mean? Like, if you do want your art to match your stuff, I get that, but not Shar.
Yeah. Well, you go against the grain. Yeah. Awesome. Tiana K. Hallams. She works for Hawaiian with my sister.
Oh.
How's it? She says, what inspires her pieces? I know this is generic, but they're stunning in such a unique way.
Oh. Yeah, I always say it. I'm inspired by Hawaii. I'm inspired by the people who inhabit this beautiful place and land, ocean connection. I'm inspired by the cultures of the Pacific. And I think, all that's always in my mind is, am I drawing something that will bring people together or people can find a connection with? That's always what inspires me, and women, of course, you know, the female figure.
Women of like just human women? Or
human
like
women.
specific,
I tend to draw women of color. That's my favorite.
As in like Polynesian,
I mean, when
ethnic.
I'm drawing, I think you can place onto them what you will, but when I'm drawing, of course, I'm thinking of the people in my life, the people I know, the people I see. That's generally Pacific Islander women.
And why do you think that's important to represent that?
Oh, well, because representation, you know, representation matters. It's important. That's kind of what I was when I was starting to draw the women that I do, was because I just didn't see enough of it. And just representation for Pacific Islanders in general is like really low. And it makes, it's so impactful to a kid to see yourself represented, especially when you don't even know you're missing out on it until you see it. And you're like, oh my God, like, oh, it's so healing to be able to connect with someone who looks like you, who has your hair, who you imagine had the same kind of life that you had growing up, who maybe have the same kind of aunties. Like, you place yourself in these stories with these people, and that connection can be so healing. So I'm drawing that to heal myself, and I'm drawing that to hopefully find connection with the people around me.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing about representation, is just feeling seen. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of life is, we can complain how there's no representation in this and that, but over the years, when there was no representation, we just became the representation. Like in Asians in movies and like even Polynesians in media and whatever. That's like it's been getting better every single year. And like with your art, you're like, well, there's no Polynesian women being represented. I'm gonna start doing that.
I gotta do that.
I mean, like, I don't see a lot of like Hawaiians and like people talking about culture, ethnicities on a podcast, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna start my own. Like, you know,
it's an important thing.
You can be the change. You can literally be the change you wish to see in the world.
Happen, and I think like, well, even like in children's books. The Pacific Islander representation in children's literature, we are the very lowest represented group, Pacific Islanders. And when you consider like the year that my book came out, there was, for mainstream book publishing, there was me, there was Kumuhina, and then there was a book called Ohana Means Family. That's 3 books. And there are hundreds of books that get released every single year. That's crazy to me. That's it's getting better though. Like we got more books coming every year. The publishers are starting to reach out more. There's a book coming out from Kamalani Hurley. She's publishing a book about Kaho'olave, and she's doing that on mainstream publishing. Kealani Netane, she's Samoan Hawaiian. She's got Tala Learns to Siva coming out in the summer. And Elima Todd, she's Hawaiian from North Shore. She's got a book on Mauna Kea protest, a children's book about Mauna Kea protests that I illustrated. That's coming out too. I mean, like, sorry to name drop all these wonderful people, but just like being aware that like slowly we're being given the keys to finally tell our own stories, and it's happening slowly. And I'm just like so excited for the future. I'm so excited for us to get the microphone finally.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely, it's exciting. Yeah. And like I said, we can be the change, we can be the future of all these
Yeah.
things that we feel are missing from our lives.
If
or
they're
from
missing,
other.
then it's not going to come to you. I've learned that it's not just going to magically fall on your lap. So when you see that there's a void that needs to be filled, like
Go
jump
fill 'em.
in,
Yeah,
go fill
yeah.
them, go do it. I'll
Yeah.
be cheering you on.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
I'm not gonna do it, but I'll cheer you on.
Yeah, I'll cheer you on.
Depends what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome, I love that. Okay, next question comes from Conscious Creator 555. This person says, "When do you feel most connected to your creative flow?"
When do I feel most connected to it? I think when I'm like, I don't have to be at a specific place. I just have to have my materials in front of me. I think as an artist, I feel most connected to my process when I'm actually painting. I do a lot of digital work. That's just like the nature of my freelance world, is everything moves super quickly and the iPad's just fast.
Yeah.
But I come from a painting background, so like when I get to get my hands dirty again and push paint around and be a part of that discovery process again, I think that's just the cherry on top. That's the best place for me to be in. And I just I crave it. I don't ever have time for it, but I do long for it.
Is it something about like this motion or like it's very like flowy, or what is it?
It feels like the way I feel when I'm painting. I feel like you're sculpting, like you're adding and you're taking away, and just that organic process of like chipping away at things and making it do exactly what you want to do. There's like these mark makings that you can do, these brush strokes that are just like, they're invigorating. You know what I mean? Like it's so
Just
addicting.
Shar nerding
all day.
Paint strokes, brush strokes.
I know. My gosh, all day.
We love to see it. That's awesome. Yeah, see, that's like my weakest thing, is like actual like art, like, so I'm creative, but not through like
not
drawing and like if I have something in my head, I can't put it into a picture. I would have to write it. Like I could explain it, and but that's probably like my weakest suit, is drawing. I'm still stuck on stick figures. Yeah.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah. And I'm sure if I really wanted
If
to, I
you
could get better.
wanted
It's
to.
just like I've just accepted, like that's just not what I'm interested in.
Big believer in like putting in the work, and it's not a gift. You know what I mean? Like I get that a lot. Like, you've got a gift, but I feel like, no, I worked very hard to, I put in the work, and I think anybody can do anything if you really just like obsess over it and hone in on it. I think it's possible. Yeah.
I think there are people who are gifted in certain aspects. Like, man, if you're playing sports and you're just born and you're 6'8",
I guess athletes, that's for
like,
sure.
In the athlete sense, definitely. But it's like, what do you do with that gift? You know, because
some people are just so gifted athletically. That's true.
athletic.
And then they like invest in themselves and become these like super athletes.
Yeah, but then when you're more of like a creative side, where there's something where you can actually like put the 10,000 hours in to become an expert at it. I'm not saying anybody can do it, but it's more attainable, because like if I really wanted to be a good painter, I would keep painting. If I wanted to be 6'8", I can't do that.
Can't do it.
So there are just some like physical attributes that you can be gifted with. But also I feel like singing is one of those things where
you know what?
You can be gifted.
Okay, I stand corrected. There are a lot of things you can be gifted at.
No, but I agree with you. But I'm just adding to the conversation, because I just feel like they say anybody could learn to sing, but I totally disagree. Like, everybody can learn to sing, like, okay, or like be a good singer, but not. There's some people who are just like born with this natural talent, and they can get better than anyone else because they already started with this gift.
You know what? I was like at the Brother Noland.
And you did the cover for that one. That was so cool.
It was so much fun. But we at the end did the circle, and we were all singing a song together. And I was right next to Kimye, and like I just sing regular, like blah, 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 you know, like but this. Like being right next to somebody who has like dedicated their life to this skill. My God, I was just like putting my ear closer to her, and I was like, God, she seems like an angel, and it was so loud.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And you're just like, Yeah, no, but sing, yeah, people who can sing just,
Oh,
I just guess
yeah.
that's probably if I could have a skill in life, I would always choose to sing.
I think that's
Yeah.
such a like, man, what a flex if you can like sing.
I know.
Like, check
'Cause you
this out,
could
check me
write
out,
a
you
song
know?
for somebody, or you could
Yeah.
just, I don't know, just share these amazing stories, like,
Yeah.
in a very
You do a lot of
beautiful
things.
way. I mean, yes, there's other ways, but man, singing is like the coolest.
To me, yeah,
Yeah.
sing, play an instrument. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Too bad. I wasn't born with that. That's
Can't
why I
do
try so.
everything.
That's why I try so hard in other things.
Yeah,
Life had to
right,
humble
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Can't be good at it all.
Yeah.
Okay, next question comes from Ozzy Kage, who is actually one of our other guys that work here, but he's not here today. He's actually a good singer. Speaking
Oh,
of singing,
nice.
yeah. Well, he asked, what keeps you going? What drives you creatively, especially when you hit a wall?
Oh, the drive, huh? I think I'm driven by several things, some unhealthy, some healthy. I think I'm driven by the need to be the provider for my family. So that keeps me moving. Driven by feeling like I want to be that person for like little me. You know what I mean? Like, going back to representation, growing up and never seeing my very niche job, my freelance illustration world that I live in, never seeing a loud, boisterous, Tongan woman drawing and working with these clients. I never saw that, and I didn't know that I could do that because I didn't see it. And so I'm driven by that. Like when I feel like giving up, like I feel like we just got to keep moving on. Like we've got to like grow by the numbers. Like we're going to do this. And I just feel like you just can't just give up on that. And the love, I think, because again, it's like so healing to be in it. And you feel accomplished when you are given something really challenging. I get jobs all the time where they're like, can you do A, B, and C? And I don't know what I'm doing. And you say, yes, of course I can. I'm great at that. And that challenge of like, okay, now it's time to go learn a whole new skill set, in time for the deadline. That kind of stuff kind of gives you a high, I guess. Just learning. I love learning. So yeah, I think just the journey of life keeps you going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. I
Yeah.
love that. Cool. Next question comes from Tevens LLC. This person wants to know, how did you keep going strong as a single mom, not giving up on your dream?
Oh gosh, back in the single mom days. So
Was that the dark ages? That's past the dark ages.
That actually was a part of, like, I think it kind of was birthed a lot after I became a mom. I don't know if that's like self-diagnosing like postpartum depression, but I was a different person after I gave birth to my daughter. I wasn't with her dad, and like I was just not ready. I was young. I wasn't ready to be a mom, and I was still very much selfish. So that was a really trying time, but you snap out of it eventually, and you've got this kid that is just means the world to you, and they're teaching you so much. I mean, I feel like so much of like what I've learned has come from my daughter just being like a little so smart. I don't know. Kids they just push you to do more because they're incredible, and you just want to always be on their level, you know? I don't know. What was the question? How did I do?
Yeah. How did you keep going strong and not give up on your dream?
Yeah, that like anything, right? Just persevere through it. Because you don't really have a choice. I mean, I guess you could just walk away from it, but I'm not. No, sir. Not.
Yeah.
You do it because sometimes you just don't have a choice. Yeah, you have to just work through it. Yeah.
And so how's it going now? With your kids? How old are they?
17. My daughter is 17. Tessa, she is my little beauty queen. She's amazing. Nice. Paddler.
Oh, wow.
She's really good with makeup. And my son, Ehukai, he's 8. Super spirited, we call them. He's very energetic. Yeah, he does jujitsu.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yep, he's great. They're great. They don't like that I work a lot. They definitely don't think it's super cool that I do what I do.
What? I guess art isn't cool when you're young, maybe.
I think anything I do that takes away from their time with me, they just don't like. Because, I'm constantly, I'm working from the moment I wake up till 2 in the morning, sleep on the couch, or I travel a lot. I think they're just over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how cool is it going to be when they're at the airport and they're like, hey, my mom designed that.
Yeah, maybe that'll be kind of cool. I don't know. My son thinks it's cool because he likes to draw. He thinks it's good that I can draw Dragon Ball Z characters.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then he thinks that's a pretty cool party trick, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you have to design some of the canoes.
Yeah.
For their regatta.
Yeah, there we go. That'd be sick.
Yeah. And then you earn her respect.
Yes, then Taysa will finally.
Yeah, then she'll finally accept me and be proud of me as her brother. All right, well, mahalo everybody for the social media fan questions. Make sure you leave some for the next guest, and maybe your question will make it on the podcast. All right, so we're coming to the back end of the podcast, and let me just put that down. I need to buy an iPad soon. That's my goal for 2024.
iPad.
Yeah, so I don't have to keep opening this laptop because I could have it here and then be like,
scroll away.
Yeah. So what was I saying? So one question that I like to ask all of my guests when we get to this point is, what does Keeping It Aloha mean to you? The name of the podcast is right over there, Keep It Aloha. And so I just like to hear everybody's take on how they keep it aloha in their life.
Oh, sheesh, there's just so many ways. But for me, I think the best way that I can keep it aloha is to be community minded. I think that's taught me a lot. I think it's one of the functions on how, Hawaii does so well, or how it's done so well in the past, is just having that really reciprocal nature and being able to kind of do your part in our little community on this beautiful on the islands. I think that's as simple as that. Just keeping yourself community minded, which I had to learn how to do. As an artist, you're always like, well, what can I contribute? Like a painting, you know what I mean? So that you kind of learn over time. For me, I had to learn, well, what's my responsibility as an artist? What do we do that's not so self-serving? And there's a lot of ways. I could probably talk for hours about that.
Yeah. No, I love the community minded. My whole life is, community driven.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that I do is very, for the community, for the Lahui. Because it's just so much better when you do things that are bigger than yourself, or for a bigger purpose than yourself. It gives you more motivation and drive and whatever word you want to throw in there. But the thing that I love about our community in Hawaii is that, yes, there are some times where people can butt head, or they can get competitive depending what industry you're in. But at least for me, my mindset is always community over competition.
Yeah.
And I noticed that with some of the artists here, because you guys are technically, anyone that's doing the same thing as you is your competition.
Yeah, I guess.
But here, everybody's so collaborative, and they know each other. Jack, Jasper, and you guys just talk with each other. There's, I can't speak for you guys. I don't know what the intricacies of your relationships are.
I mean, that's been a big part of it. Specifically speaking to Jasper, Gress, and Kamea Hadar, what they did with Worldwide Walls, they're the guys that I can only speak for myself, that I looked up to, who I was going to reach out to and hopefully get some insight from them. And they're so generous with their knowledge and their time, and they've done so much to help really move our art community forward. So having them kind of be the examples, to me, I think Jasper does tons of stuff for they all do. And I think we look to them, all of us coming up, or just look to them as our examples of how we want to conduct ourselves in our community. We're not we're not competing against each other. There's a healthy sense of competition, but I feel like my competition is with myself. That's what I'm competing with myself. But I'm always if Jack gets a job, or if Kate gets a job, or somebody gets the job that I want, it's just we're messaging each other, yes, get it, good for you, or passing on our work. I think a lot of us do that when we're too busy. I have a list of illustrators that I'm aware of, that I have their emails, their handles and everything, and I send them in my emails. I can't do this job, but this, and this person would be perfect for it. Keep it in Hawaii, hopefully. I think that's another part of it, just spreading the wealth, because there's enough work for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I believe. I feel like somebody else doing something isn't taking away from you.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's just how my mindset is, especially with like podcasts. There's other podcasts coming up, and like I'm cool with like all the other people, and it's such a small community still for Hawaii for podcasting. Like I'll go do something and they're like, oh, isn't that like your competition? I'm like, no, I just talked to them the other day.
I
like,
see you guys on each other's shows.
Like we're on each other's
so
shows
great.
And like we're talking about like, oh yeah, you should get this sponsor or whatever, like talking just about sponsorships in general, and like the different things that they bring to the table, that we bring to the table. And like I really just don't believe in like competing with somebody within your community.
What good does that do?
I think just why don't we bring each other up and help each other rise, instead of like I want to be way better than all, because you can still be better in your own sense, but like competitive with yourself. You're like, no, like what good does it do? Like, oh, I'm better than this person. Like, I got more followers than this person. Like, it does nothing but boost your ego. Like, that's all it does.
The worrying so much about follower, I can't. Like, I just don't think I can live like that. I'm appreciative of the followers, but I just don't live for it. I don't post for it. Appreciate it, but I think it comes back to being that community minded, that it's not just about you, it's about what we are contributing. That's to me the bigger picture. It's not like I do art this good and they do art this good, you know what I mean? It's like we all do art. Some of us work on a different with different clients that take us, work global brands and stuff. Well, how do we take that experience and how do we use that in our own community? How do we bring that experience to better our businesses here, to work with small businesses here? That's my mind is always like, how do we keep this in Hawaii? Because I'm never going anywhere. This is the place I want to take care of. This is the place I want to malama. So that's always at the forefront. Is how do we use our skill set, right? Because we all have our responsibilities, right, in our communities and our lahui. So mine is art and finding ways to make that make sense,
And everybody got their own different thing, their strengths, and you just gotta focus on that, and work within this modern aupua of just focusing on what you're good at. We're not all gonna be able to be in the lo'i all the time, although you should definitely volunteer for your community days, once in a while,
but not all of us are gonna be, that's not gonna be our full time. I think some of us, like when I think about how we use our strengths as art, like, because again, I used to kind of like battle with myself, like, well, art is so selfish, I came from a Western art education, so that's very European sort of style of painting. And something about Pacific Islander art is that it has a utility. It's always useful. It's collaborative. You have your kapa, you can use that for clothing. We have lohala. Everything's got a purpose for food, shelter, ceremony. And then on this other end, like the world that I come from is just like painting pretty pictures. You know what I mean? So how do we marry that to make it have utility? And then I kind of think of it like if we're talking about community events or bettering our community, if you have, say, Jerry makes he's hosting a community day, or he's hosting something to educate the public about how we better our oceans or save our vai or feed our kupuna. And he scribbles it on a lined piece of paper and tapes it onto a wall. And then right next to it, you have this poster that's on this beautiful like card with the surface that's amazing. The colors are in perfect harmony. The typeset is just in your face, like you can't help but look at it, and it says, eat at Bob's. There's two messages up there. One's really important, and one is just gonna get you fat or whatever. It's just gonna it's nothing. It's just gonna get I'm gonna go eat at Bob's, because that's where my eyes went. That's what I paid attention. I didn't even look at this one. So in that sense, our responsibility as artists is like, okay, then we have to marry that. So I'm going to take my skill sets. I'm going to make the posters beautiful so that community days are at everybody's forefront. That's what you see is like these important moments of activism, important lessons that we need to learn, important events to go to is like, we're going to take our skills that we're learning and we're going to put it back into our community. So the important messages are being seen. That's our skill set, is to attract the eye. It's like a device of nature.
Yeah, or we're like the marketing department.
Exactly. Yeah, marketing, but and you can market for whoever. You can market for Bob's, but take the experience you learned from making that poster and bring it back to your community also. So it's like striking that balance. Like get your experience from these people, but bring it back.
Yeah. So do you, that being said, do you ever feel pressure to be like more Polynesian, more traditional, more like Easter?
All the time, right? That pressure doesn't ever go away, right? Like it's all, you always feel that because I feel that strong sense of wanting to make my ancestors proud, wanting to practice more useful things in art, and wanting to, I'm proud to be Pacific Islander. I'm proud to be Polynesian. I guess it kind of does define me, but I think that definition is expansive, and it can be a lot of things. It's just, how do I share that message in a way that still feels true to my culture, but is not limited? And I don't want to limit myself.
Yeah, I forget who I was talking to. One of the past guests, they were saying, I think maybe Keeney, maybe it was a fashion person. It's like, what is like Hawaiian made, Polynesian made, whatever. It's like we have these ideas of what it is, but like anything made by a Polynesian, by a Pacific Islander is a Pacific Islander thing, right? So like, yes, it's maybe European influence, Western influence, but you're doing it. You're making these designs and art, so it's a Polynesian art.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Anytime I do something, I'm always I'm always like in inner turmoil. Like when I released my book, like, is it Polynesian enough? Like, I was so worried I was going to disappoint my people. And I think but me and Kumuhina released our books on the same exact day.
Oh, really?
You know,
coincidentally?
Just the timing went that way. Which I was like honored, amazing, but that's such a good showcase of like two different ways that we can tell stories. They're both Pacific Islander stories, Kapai Mahu was like very rooted in culture, and Mo'olelo, so beautiful, such an important book. And Pakialoha is this like scrappy little shy Polynesian girl who just happens to like need butter. And you know what I mean? Like I think they're both valid. I think one's not more Polynesian than the other, or Pacifica, whatever, however you want to call yourself. I think, we're not a monolith, right? We always say that we're not a monolith. Anything that comes from our voice, from our hand, is inherently going to be Pacific Islander.
Yeah. I agree. And I think we just have to come to the realization, like, we aren't living like we did 300 years ago.
Right. Like, I don't think our ancestors would want us to. I think they were always looking to, how do we keep expanding and pushing forward? I mean, we were forward thinking people. Ahupua is such a great example of that. I mean, that's going to save the world. That's going to save the environment. That type of thinking. We're always forward thinking people. And I think that we can still, we're always looking to our past to teach us how to troubleshoot our problems in the present. That's something we do. We're never not looking at our past and learning from our ancestors. We're just still continuing to be great and move forward,
Yeah. And they say the past is a place of reference, not residence. So we can't live in the past.
Yeah.
We can take all the things that we've learned from our kupunas, our ancestors, and just use that as a reference for moving forward and being better and
I think so.
Evolving. Yeah. So I think that's like the thing with our community, is they're just like, well, our kupuna spoke Hawaiian like this. So if you're not speaking like this, they wore clothes like this. So if you're not wearing clothes like this, then it's not Hawaiian or Polynesian, they built things like this. So if you're not doing this, a lot of times people are just like stuck in those ways. But yeah, I think I'm at a point where just like it's just a different Hawaii. We're just different types of people.
But we can appreciate the importance of trying to preserve those things because so much was taken away from all of our different various cultures in the Moana. So many things were just gone, like through colonization. Like we lost a lot of our art. So trying to figure out exactly how it was done is so valid. And I so appreciate the people, the practitioners who keep that alive. And I just think it's nice that we can look to them and see how we can make it our own also. I think there's room for all of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. There's room for all of it. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other.
That's my belief.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how I think too. It's like, if you want to do this, then do it that way. If you want to do it like this, do it that way.
Yeah.
We're all the same. Okay. Yeah.
So
I think that's like the biggest takeaway from all the conversations, all like the life experience that I've got is like, do it like this, it's fine. Do it like this, it's okay as well.
Yeah.
Just be happy.
Yeah.
Don't be mean to anyone else.
Yeah.
Be kind.
Be kind is always good. And I mean, I can't really speak for people's practices. I can only just support. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
we'll be the hype people.
I'm the hype person. You're not gonna see me like tearing anybody down for anything. I'm just here to support. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Just smile and wave.
Yeah. Safe for doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So what is something about yourself? So not even like your work, but just yourself that you take a lot of pride in?
I think just
Do you mind speaking into the mic?
Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
I think being a bit fearless.
Timidly actually goes like this.
No, I think being a little fearless in doing scary things, always going into the unknown. Don't know if it's the smartest thing to do, but I think that's something I'm proud of, that there's situations just very scary, but I do them, you know. Hardworking and fearless. Maybe I don't know, fearless. Maybe fearless is a little strong.
Yeah, people.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, it takes a lot of work to do. You follow your dreams, and it takes a lot of work just to survive in Hawaii. Period. You know. So yeah, resilience. But that's who we are. Yeah.
Well, you also have to be fearless and brave to put your artwork out. You know, it's a very vulnerable thing.
My
you
gosh.
know? So yeah, you are fearless. Yeah, I would agree.
That way, I might I don't really care. That's I mean, it's good to get feedback that way. You know, I don't know. I don't think sharing my art has not been something I've ever really overthought. Because, like I said, it's just like a part of me. So.
Just always confident.
You like it or you don't. I don't know. If you don't like it, then it's not for you. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Well, going off of that, what is some advice that you want to give to people who are coming up in art or trying to find their passion?
Draw. Of course, if you're looking for your passion, or if you're an artist, I think that's always my biggest advice is if it's something you want to do, then do it all the time. And if you can't fathom doing it all the time, or if it doesn't make you happy doing it all the time, or you're just sick of doing it all the time, then maybe that's not for you. Your passion is just, I don't know, I couldn't live without it. I couldn't breathe without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you weren't doing this, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh, I would be a historian, an oceanic scholar. I think I'm just so obsessed with it, you know? I love learning about it. That's like most of my library is all just books on our history, all of across the Pacific. It brings me joy, and I just so much to learn. So if I had all the free time in the world, I would just sit there and study it, maybe go back to school for it. But I don't know. I might have to wait till I retire.
Yeah. Huh. So you've probably heard this question before. If you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would you choose? Because I'm curious about your answer, because you love history.
Oh, God. Well, I think I would think of Apele Hau'ofa easily.
Who's
He's
that?
an academic. He's a scholar of the Pacific. He's Tongan. I read his book a lot, but I think just because I have a gazillion questions. But that would be my first answer. Gosh, I don't know anybody else. Like off the top of my head. Oh, I don't know. I always feel like when I think about sharing space, I kind of always wanted to deal with like comedians. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever watch them and just think like, oh, you'd be really fun to hang out with, you know? But I don't know for like some deep, meaningful thing. I think maybe somebody from the Pacific.
Okay.
Like
my answer is always Tupac. So we don't have to get
what
that
are you guys
deep.
gonna talk about?
It ain't that deep sometimes. Oh, because then I would figure out if he's dead or alive.
First, that would be answered, right?
I would have my answer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to Tupac anytime.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't really get that far to think what I'd ask him. I just wanted to know if he was dead or alive.
Well, you should know by the time, just
I guess,
in case, you know?
But then the question is, if you could talk with anybody dead or alive and it still say they're sitting with you, whatever power makes that happen, then like how would you know? If, like you would have to ask, like, or is it like Dragon Ball Z where they have a halo on their head to know that they're in the afterlife?
Sometimes I like think about like if I could just like go back to like pre-contact Pacific, you know, like pre-contact Hawaii, pre-contact Tonga, like I don't know. I have so many questions, you know, like what did we do? Like what did we practice? What did we look like? What did our markings look like? I think about that a lot because some of those questions will just never be answered.
It would be cool if you could kind of just like float around as a spirit around that time for like a day, just to like look around. Like was it like Ebenezer Scrooge?
Yes.
Like isn't a part where he like goes, he turned into like a ghost or something, and then he's kind of just like seeing how everybody
they
like react to him or
to
whatever.
Him, like dying or so. I don't know.
Yeah. So if we could have that kind of power, that would be pretty cool.
Where would you go?
Definitely, I think like the time of the monarchs. I think that would be really cool. Just because I love learning about the rest of the world as well. As much as I love Hawaii, you know, I've traveled and I just find this other cultures so interesting as well, because I like to compare and to see like how it's similar to Hawaiian culture and the other cultures that I love. So I think it would be cool just to hear like some of the conversations, like maybe see Queen Liliuokalani do some writing or whatever, some negotiations between the monarchs, even like Liho and his travels abroad. Because like one of my favorite quotes is from him, and like how they were just like super surprised by his wisdom and all of that. So I think that would be a really cool time. And I feel like because of some TV shows we watch, like Game of Thrones, and seeing how like the old school times were, where there were like different kingdoms and whatever. I think that would be super cool, and just kind of learning about that. And then I don't know, time where like Kamehameha, like when they're actually like uniting the island and fighting, I think that would be super cool as well.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see all of it too happening, like what's happening over in Europe and happening in Hawaii. Just like kind of like an overview of all of it.
But also if we could go even further back and be like, how did Hawaii even become Hawaii? Because we have all these stories, right?
Yeah, that's also another great mystery. Maybe to be on the boat, the Lapita people or something. I don't know.
It's like the thing is, we'll never truly know. There's all these accounts. I think it's just like religion, right? Like, yes, you could believe.
Sure.
That's what having faith is and whatever. But like, and you can say there's all these things that prove it, whatever.
Sure,
but like at the end of the day, we can't really. There's no like solid evidence, like video where you'd be like, I caught you robbing this bank. You know, there's like nothing like that to be like, this is exactly how it happened.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about this for a while now. I never had this conversation on the podcast yet. This is interesting.
Into it. I think about like, you know, like you said, cultures around the world. I just think that I've spent our whole lives learning about the Western culture. You know what I mean? Like in school, and I think that schools can do better about teaching more about the Pacific. People don't even really. I'm surprised how much people don't know about it.
Yeah, and I think it's one. I think it will be changing in the next couple years, because people are just being more aware of indigenous cultures.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, in general, not just Hawaiian culture. Yeah. So I think there will be a change, or you know, people are more woke these days. You know, I think change becoming. Yeah. But I had this other thought from all these things that I wanted to
Please.
think about too. But it just slipped my mind because now I'm going down a rabbit hole of all these.
Of what medieval culture?
Yeah, or like.
You know what's crazy? When I was in a Western civilization class, and my teacher said that one of his classmates, their masters or their master thesis was on the smells of the medieval ages.
Smells?
Yeah,
like,
because there's just corpses rotting.
I was gonna say
everywhere.
death.
Yeah, I was like, how does one research? I guess you can just assume.
Go to a mortuary.
Dead people and like sewage everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going.
Yeah,
I think about it a lot, you know?
She just thinks of dead people all the time. We're going to cut this clip out of context. She's like, yeah, there's dead people. Yeah. I think about it a lot.
No.
Jordan, you got it. Timestamp this right now. What are we at? Timestamp it. Okay. I feel like my brain is starting to turn right now. I can't really formulate questions, but I know I'm going to be driving in silence at going home and trying to just think of more creative ways to see the past or ways to talk about this kind of thing. I know. So whoever my next podcast guest is, you might get some weird questions coming up.
Weird questions.
Yeah. But all right, so after all the things that you've done so far and you are still going to accomplish more in the future, what would you say you're most proud of? Like, what is the thing that you're most proud of?
Ooh, like a specific project or just overall? I think the thing I'm most proud of is that I've made this my full-time job. I always just pinching myself, and I'm always really, really grateful that I get to do this job that I do, and that I've had the opportunity to work with some of the best creative directors in the world for some of the biggest brands that I could ever possibly imagine working with. You know, I just think like this girl from this little island, you know, in the ocean, like why do I get to do this? So I think just somehow finding my way there, I'm really, really, I don't know if you could say proud of myself, but I'm just really grateful.
You can be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of the little things, the big things.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, that's something we can't like shy away from. Just being proud of ourselves.
You know, we're humble people. It's
yeah,
so hard.
But you can still be humble and be like, I'm proud that I did that.
Yeah,
I don't think pride has to interfere with like humbleness. Because you don't have to be like, I'm amazing, I did all these things, look at it, all the things I did. But you can be like, yeah, I'm super proud that I did that, or I'm proud that I've affected these people, or like somebody's life. Like, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of this podcast.
There you go. I love that.
But I'm also humble enough to know that this is the #1 podcast in Hawaii, according to my mom. See, there you go. I got to preface it.
Yeah.
So it's just how you word it.
Yeah.
And that's just facts.
Yeah, that's
it's
facts.
Not me bragging. It's the #1 podcast according to my mom. Yeah, and maybe a couple other family members.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. Okay, what is something you wish people knew about you that they don't?
Oh gosh. I think, even though I've said it several times, I wish people knew that I was very like sensitive, like fragile. I guess, you know. I think I come off as like really confident. My drawings are all like in your face, and like I speak with authority on who knows what. I don't know what gives me the right. I don't know, but I'm actually quite sensitive and fragile. I don't know. So when you see me, be nice to me.
Don't say anything bad about. So how do you deal with social media like trolls and haters
not
and
well,
stuff?
no.
So do you actually read all of it? Do you respond?
I very rarely have gotten ever any pushback. I got a little bit of pushback when I did a drawing of Moana because that's so controversial for the Pacific. And I got a lot of pushback on a recent drawing. So that one made me turn off, like stop posting for a while and like sit with myself and heal because people were being so mean to me, and that's okay. I mean,
let them.
It's okay. I don't take it personally. I just think that sometimes you're projecting your own hurt, and it's not personal. Like if we weren't on our screens, if we were in person, we wouldn't speak to each other this way. I don't speak to anybody that way, and it's just not.
Yeah, that's why. Just let them be because they ain't doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
they ain't brave.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're just dumb. I just don't know.
Let them live their life behind their phone screen.
It's okay. I need to work on that. Like, I have a thick skin on some things, but I think, if people like call me out on like something as simple as a drawing, then I get really like, oh my gosh, what have I done?
So when you say you're sensitive, is that mostly like things being said at you, or with things going on in the world?
Things going on in the world.
Okay, so it's like
I feel things extremely deeply, as you'll see every once in a while. If something big happens in the world that feels like I have to communicate through art. I can't help it. That's like the first thing I go to, and I have to put it out there. I don't know. I haven't learned my lesson. I don't know. But every once in a while, I dabble in that world, and because I feel it, like when things happen, I just a puddle of emotions. You know?
So I want to get your take on comedy, because if you're sensitive, then how do you feel about like people making certain jokes, offensive jokes towards different cultured people?
You can be sensitive and have a level of discernment that they're telling a joke. I'm not like I don't get offended easily at all. I think to each their own. Like if I don't like somebody's comedy act, I just don't watch it. I don't try to like end their career or anything.
You don't cancel them?
No, not at all. That's me. I love comedy. I love raunchy comedy. Maybe some of the comedy I like is probably inappropriate, but I don't know. I feel like comedy's there to heal. And again, like some of it's irresponsible. Some of it is bad and not good for society or good for a lot of groups of people. I just don't watch it. That's it.
Yeah.
But I can laugh for sure. And I don't personally get offended, but I'm going to be going to bat for my friends if they're feeling hurt. I will do that. Cool. But like I personally, I'm chill. Okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering, it's a little bit of
it's a weird place, but
contrast, or like
it's okay. The word? And I think it's okay also to see comedians evolve. Like some jokes just don't need to be said anymore. I think that's totally fine to evolve. If you don't want to, that's okay. That's on you. But I think we can.
Yeah. Change.
We can change
with the time.
We're saying things that hurt people. I think it's okay to not say it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we used to say growing up that we can't say now.
Yeah.
And it's just more of a respect thing, I guess.
It is. To me, that's always what you're not going to see me ever pushing back against somebody wanting me to speak about them differently or identify them differently. I'm good. Totally. I will try my hardest, Yeah. That's me.
Do you think there are some people who are overly sensitive, or do you find times where you're overly sensitive and you have to think, like, take a step back and be like, maybe it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Or maybe I shouldn't need to be offended by.
Sometimes, for sure. Like, I can be in a place and, if people are coming for a certain group of people that I, go to bat for, I will just instantly be like screaming at the TV or cuss, you know what I mean? Like, and then I have to take a step back and think like, okay, calm yourself down, Shar, and like, people just need time to get there, and you can't expect everybody to be where you want them to be. They get there, and screaming and yelling at them is not going to get them there faster. Leading by example will, and humanizing ourselves will. So I have to I pep talk myself. I talk to myself a lot just so I'm living that way, because that doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes you just react, and and I think, I don't know, everyone's sensitive. I mean, everyone, doesn't matter where you're coming from, things will rub you the wrong way if you disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's on their own journey.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta meet people where they're at, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think they're just saying like you can only understand people at the level that what is it? They can only understand you at the level that you understand. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna look it up again and mention it on another podcast. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good one. It's I'm gonna look it up right now actually.
Do it.
It's gonna bother me.
Do it.
Because I have it saved on my Instagram. I have a bunch of like these motivational whatever stuff saved that I love looking at. It's hang on people, it's coming. It's a couple scrolls down. I know how it looks.
Is it in your notes?
No, you know on Instagram you can just save posts. People will only understand you at the level they understand themselves.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what
true.
it is. Yeah.
That's true. And understanding that about people will help to make you a little more empathetic to where you're at, less awful. Like, if anything, I've learned, like, 2020 to now has been such a Twilight Zone world, and I've learned so much about how to really put my own feelings aside and my own, like, preconceived notions about certain things, like, in everything, in politics and religion and all of that, because if you don't, you're going to lose so many relationships. Maybe some people are okay with losing relationships. Good on you. I understand that. That's fine. You have to cut people out of your life because of the differences, but I don't think that's for me. Like, I really cherish my family who come from different walks of life. Yeah. The friends I've made and I want to keep. So you just kind of remember what it's like to talk to people in person. Put your keyboard down.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your hands down.
That's a big takeaway too that I've learned from the pandemic times and just in the last couple of years. It's like you can disagree with somebody and still be friends with them. You can have different opinions and still be cool with them. It's fine to have different views on life. Yeah,
I'm of that mindset.
Yeah. Okay, so before we end the podcast, I gotta know, what is your life hack?
Life hack. I know I have to think about this again, but the life hack that I think I have that has brought me so much peace that I get from my dad, and it always comes back to community, is and your relationships with people. My life hack for just being a happier, more pleasant person is connecting with other people and finding ways to connect. And my dad always says that you can connect with anybody you meet. You just have to find your common ground and go from there. It's as simple as that. And I look up to my dad a lot because he's just such a kind soul. He's like a top tier human being, you know, and I just always want to try to live my life more like him. And I've learned that through him. Like, stop throwing people away and stop ignoring people. Like, when you find someone that you can connect with, even have a short conversation with, do it. Because you never know where it could lead. I've had some really great interactions just at, like, helping someone at the grocery store. Someone called my number, the wrong number, an auntie. We talked on the phone for 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I have a story about that too.
It was one time my dad was in the airport. We were in the airport on the continent, and Polynesians just kind of somehow find each other. And there's this old guy, and he looked Tongan. My dad, like, he looked lost. My dad was over there talking. He was talking to him like 15, 20 minutes. I heard my dad was speaking Tongan. I was like, oh, maybe he knows him. I was like, Dad, how'd you know that guy? He's like, oh, I don't know him. I was like, oh, is he Tongan? No, he's Samoan. I said, oh, was he speaking Tongan? He's like, no, he was speaking Samoan. I was speaking Tongan. I was like, for 20 minutes? What did you guys say? And I think that just, I mean, that's like, you know, kindness is that's the language everyone can understand. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I had over the break, like end of last year or beginning of this year, I forget what it was. I had this random number call me because it's like, did you call me or something? Because I guess they thought I called them, and I was like, no, I'm sorry. But it was loud, so they like texted me later. It's like, sorry, I couldn't hear you, and I explained it. And then they started texting me because they said something in Samoan, and I responded like, fa'afetai. And then they're like, wait, they kept going, and we ended up talking about like linguistics for like the whole entire day, because like they're studying linguistics, or like all these like we were like comparing Hawaiian words to like Samoan
Yeah, I
words,
love
and it
it.
ended up being so long, and they still text me. I have to just kind of ghost them at some point, because I was like, okay, I don't want to keep talking to you. But it was like long messages too, and I was like, but that's how I am too. Look,
No,
it's like
totally. You start talking
we were just
about
going off.
linguistics
Yeah.
in the ocean, like across the Moana, like our Austronesian languages. You go down that path, man. It's so fun to talk about.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
love
barely
it.
know what I'm talking about, but I
Yeah.
love to see it because it just makes you feel connected. That's
Yeah.
I love it. It's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Also, going back to the finding common ground, it's such a good life hack, because no matter where you're from, what you're into, there's most times you can find something that connects you. And so the one thing that I've been doing recently a lot, when I meet new people, is I ask, "Do you guys watch anime?" So that's like a random question that I started asking, and most times people do. It's crazy how many people
Especially here, yeah, Hawaii,
that
lots of people
actually
like anime.
watch it. So like I was just at a wedding, I was just sitting with people I didn't know. At some point I was like, "Do you guys watch anime?" And I worked part-time as a Peace Corps recruiter for UH10, and we had like our end of the year party in December, and there's a bunch of young kids like still in there. I'm 30, so they're like in their early 20s, maybe 21, whatever, and they just look like a bunch of little kids to me. And I was like, and I'm just standing there like, I don't really know what to talk to them about. And then I just bust out, "Hey, so you guys watch anime?" And then after like the mood just changed. They're like, "Oh yeah, I watch this and this and this."
Then
and
everyone got real comfortable.
Yeah. Then I was like, they're like listing a bunch of things for me to watch, and I was like, "Yeah, well, I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, but we call it JJK."
Oh, my son loves that.
Yeah, I love that's one of my favorite shows. So it's just funny, like you could probably find things that you have in common with people, even if they look different than you. And but like that's my new thing is, do you watch anime?
You never know what kind of friends and what kind of connections you can make, and that's a great way to start like your journey of being in community.
Yeah,
it's just talking to people around. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all we have for you today. Mahalo for coming in and talking stories. I just have my last fast fave 5 questions, so these are just rapid fire answers.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm terrible at this kind of stuff.
Okay, no, you got it. Okay, favorite snack when working?
A spam musubi.
Oh, okay, easy. Favorite place to find peace?
The ocean.
Favorite song to play when you're doing art?
Oh gosh. What?
Or maybe a certain playlist, certain genre of music?
It just changes all the time. I don't know. I listen to hip hop.
Hip hop?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Any like certain songs that come to mind?
Gosh, nothing in particular. A lot of Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, I love Tribe Called Quest. Check the Rhyme is on my like. I love Tribe Called Quest. Okay. Favorite TV show / movie. So, however, if you just have a movie.
Favorite. Well, Nightmare Before Christmas, my favorite movie.
Okay, that counts.
Okay.
Okay, and last one. Favorite travel destination.
Oh, besides Hawaii.
Besides Hawaii, yes.
Favorite travel destination so far is Japan. Yeah.
That's on my list. People have been saying that a lot, so
it's incredible.
I'm trying to get there. And now my feed, my explore page is all like anime stuff and Japan things to do in Japan and whatnot. So it's just a sign telling me that I need to go to Japan this year. This is the year I'm gonna get there. Yeah. All right. Well, again, mahalo for coming on, talking stories. Is there anything else you want to share? If not, tell us where we can find you, where we can buy your book, see your art.
Yes. You can
plug yourself.
You can follow me at Punky Aloha at TikTok. Oh, go to my TikTok. not a lot of art on my TikTok. Lots of bun content. At Instagram at Punky Aloha. You can buy my book, Punky Aloha. And I do have an art show coming up in August that I'm just really excited about. If you're in the LA area in August, having my debut solo show with Think Space, and my plane's coming out in the spring. I'm really excited.
That's super exciting.
If you see me around, you see my bun around, come and say hi, give me a hug.
Yeah. Wow, I just realized that we're recording this on a Tuesday, and she came with the proper Tittabun Tuesday.
Is it Tittabun Tuesday?
Tittabun Tuesday. You never heard that?
No, I came like prepared.
Tittabun Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's other stuff. I know there's like Taco Tuesday, There's Thirsty Thursdays.
Thirsty Thursdays.
Yeah, but I think for Hawaii, it's just, that's a Hawaii Tittabun Tuesdays.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
In all my life.
It might
wearing
have.
Tittabun.
Now you're making me question myself if I just made that up.
Well.
No, I'm just joking. I heard it like throughout college. People say
Really?
Tittabun Tuesday.
Where did you go to high school?
Big Island, but
Oh.
I moved here my senior year. But I went college over here in Manoa.
Never. I feels like ashamed.
Maybe because Kailua.
Take my Tittabun card.
Yeah.
You know
maybe,
what I mean?
Maybe it's just Kailua.
Maybe it's
they don't say that in Kailua.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to stereotype, but
no
they just.
harp on Kailua,
I don't know if they wear.
Kailua forever.
I don't know if they have Tittabuns. How many Tittabuns be Tittabunning in Kailua?
Excuse me.
Okay.
First of all, Kailua wants to live in Kailua. Thank you. It is Kailua, not Krailua.
Oh, okay. Because I always thought it was Kailua, and they don't have Tittabuns.
No, actually, it's an entire Ahupua. It is called Kailua. Thank you. And that's the end of that discussion.
All right, well, we'll end the podcast before I get beat up or canceled. Mahalo, Shar, for joining us on the Keep It Aloha podcast. Spread aloha, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and remember to always keep it aloha.